You better listen up, listen up. There's not a thing that I can give from you. Boy, I don't need that much, need that much. How can I tell you what I want to do? I never needed you to give me things. I never needed gifts or diamond rings. All I ever need, all I ever need is here with you. Babe, there is this place where we can go, where it's always shining like the snow. Listen to your heartbeat, don't you know that I just wanna be with you.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, then welcome. I'm JongWildAndFree, and on this channel I love showing my Sims 4 build creations that I make into different types of speed builds. If this is something you like to watch, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also click the notification bell so you will get notified whenever I post something new. Now, as for today's speed build, I'm back with another bit of a special build. It's one that I made for a big collab that Kristen and Michelle organized over on Twitter. There are quite a lot of simmers doing the same collab, and I'm going to try my best linking all of them down below in the description if you want to see any of their builds or create the sims as well. As for the theme of this collab, we decided to do like a cartoon character that either inspired you for a build or create a sim. Of course, I went for building since that is the only thing that I'm really good at. Now, as the title or thumbnail already might have shown you, I built a Cinderella themed house, or better said, the house she lives in with her stepmother and sisters. This house is maybe more based on the newest Cinderella movie and not so much on the old animated one, but I thought it would still fit the collab perfectly. I also do want to say that this house has been requested to me before, so it wasn't entirely my idea, but I thought it would still be fun since I was such a Cinderella fan when I was a little girl. So with that said, let's talk a bit more about the build itself. Of course, it's not exactly like any picture or movie. It's just an inspired build. I want to just clarify that since it is not easy to exactly recreate things in The Sims 4 or in any Sims. Even if you try, that might not always make it look good. So that's also why this build is more or less only inspired by. I really did like the house from the movie that I believe came out in 2015, but I might be mistaken of the year, I don't know. It's the Cinderella movie with the nice blue dress on the front, a real life Cinderella movie and not the animated one, of course. And all I know is that I definitely wanted to keep or what I wanted to keep with this build from the original picture. I mean, I just had the one picture and I did watch the movie for like a week or two ago, so I just kind of did it on memory as well. But like I said, I wanted to make it look good in The Sims, so it's just kind of a bit based around. But I knew I wanted to keep the tower in and some of the outside as well. So part of the second floor in the front is still kind of inspired by the real picture, but yeah, it's kind of changed, or by let's see if I can explain this better, but by trying to create this in The Sims, the floor plan of course changed quickly, so it was either trying to recreate the floor plan or trying to recreate the outside, and I chose of course the outside. I rather wanted to have a nice looking outside and still have the feel or the right feel in the inside, but yeah, it was easier this way, at least for me. But I didn't really stress too much about how things would be looking, because I can't really make them the same anyway, because we are all have the limits of color schemes and windows and placements. It's just not as freely as it would be in real life. So some of the big difference might be that this house is more of an old English style cottage now, and not all in stone like the original house would have been. I wasn't really able to find a nice stone wallpaper that I liked, so that's kind of why I rather went with all the get-together wallpapers, and I just combined multiple to give some more detail to the outside. I always find it, or almost always find it quite boring to just use one type of wallpaper. If I do that, then I need to spice it up with something else, because it quickly looks so flat in The Sims 4. When I did my castle or palace, then that one is totally in one wallpaper, but I used a ton of columns to kind of spice up the outside and give it that extra structure that it would have had in real life. But since I don't really have the freedom of whatever I want to do in The Sims 4, I'm kind of a bit limited, so that's kind of why I rather chose to combine the two wallpapers just to give, I don't know, a more cozy feel. I also wanted to still be able to use this build maybe later on in a save file as a Tudor style home, so yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it. Now as for the shape, I also did experiment with that a bit. I did most of that off camera. I kind of planned out the entire floor plan before I started filming this, but if I would have built it directly from the original shape, or the front shape at least, I don't know how it looks from the back. I didn't really bother trying to see the movie one more time just to figure that out. And I kind of had a lot limit as well on how far I could go, so it's kind of a bit copied on the back, but I don't know. But if I did build directly from the picture as the shape used to be, then the roofing and the second floor and the tower would have looked pretty much similar, but the downstairs would just have been one long wall. Just it might have felt so boxy or not like any shape at all, so that's kind of why I created these extra bits and pieces. It isn't really exactly as the picture, but then again, my goal was to make it look good in The Sims 4, so yeah. Now, I was not really able to make the tower accessible, because when I built it kind of big enough to maybe have some stairs going up there, I just found it too big. I really like the size that I went for here, but that also meant that no one can reach it. So unless the new stuff pack does come with ladders, then that would be awesome. I think there has been some hinting towards spiral stairs, so but still I'm not sure you can make that work since the tower is a bit too small. So if you do get spiral stairs in that pack and you want to use those, or in any kind of update if we get them done, then you might need to change up the tower a bit if you want to use the tower. I still made it into like a crappy old bedroom, so you could I don't know, if you want to play the Cinderella story or something like it, you could always teleport your Sims up there by holding the shift and then click in the tower room. But then of course you also need to remember to let your Sims out again the same way, because they won't find a way down and then they will just starve or be so unhappy that they die. I don't know, something like that. But in that way it is kind of usable, but it doesn't have a toilet or anything up there, because I liked the feel that it was kind of small and cozy. If I wanted to make all that functional, the tower would just have been as big as my Rapunzel tower that is in this area as well, so yeah, I wasn't really feeling that. Now, if this is something you don't like to do, of course, the teleporting part, then I made kind of a solution for it. It's kind of either way, it doesn't really matter how you want to play your household story here, but if you want a more Cinderella-like story, I think Cinderella is kind of hidden away in the house in the movies and story by her stepmom. So to kind of simulate that, I made a bedroom downstairs behind the bookcase door. So I placed two bookcase doors and a normal bookcase in the middle just to make it balanced out. The second door I did block off with plants because I don't really want anyone to use it, so I recommend you keep that one locked, because the bedroom that's hidden behind the other bookcase door, that one has a separate door to the bathroom. The bookcase that matches the door aren't exactly as wide, so that's kind of why I placed a door at both sides to kind of get that balanced feel, but I didn't really mean that the other door should get used or use that door, so yeah. But at least with the other bookcase door, you still have a room that is technically hidden from the rest of the house, so you can still either hide Cinderella in there or like a servant, like a butler or something, if you want to play it more like a normal family house. But yeah, that's kind of also what I had in mind then. So just to make sure you could use that as a family home or family house or home. That room is more butler and boring themed right now, and Cinderella has actually a room on the second floor. Because I just had so much space there that I actually had room for 3 bedrooms, and the stepsister's room is kind of big as well. I mean, I knew I wanted them to share a room because they still do that in the movie, even though Cinderella gives up her room. I'm pretty sure they still share a room, so yeah. But Cinderella, for me, of course, sleeps upstairs in her own room, and I did also do it a bit differently from the stepsister's room. Wow, that's a lot of S's. Since I really wanted this house to be functional as a normal family home, I didn't really want to make 3 teens bedrooms or 3 room for 3 teens. So instead, the stepsisters that are kind of childish and like a lot of colors in the movies, I thought they could rather be kids. And I made their room for like twin sisters or something, or sisters that are kids or children age that share a room. And then Cinderella's is more for a teen, so she doesn't really have toys and the sisters do have. And of course, yeah, they share a room, but again, if you want to play the Cinderella story for real, you could always mature the sisters' room up a bit as well if you want to have 3 teens. Just put out some of the toys, or take out some of the toys and replace it with some more mature like stuff. I don't know, you could place more mirrors or seating areas or maybe a bookcase or anything. Whatever you find fitting. I even came to think of, if I wanted to make that room for 2 teens, I might have even placed 2 mannequins with some crazy colored dresses on, just to kind of give that ball dress feel that, yeah, right before they go to the ball, these 2 sisters have these really colorful dresses, big dresses on, and those kind of would be fun looking on a mannequin in their room as well, if the room is made for 2 teens instead. I also want to say that these rooms, maybe not in the right colors, I'm not sure anymore if they had a specific color both. But again, I just wanted to make it look good in The Sims and usable for normal families. So yeah, the color swatches in The Sims are still really tricky sometimes, so I didn't really stress too much about it. I made it just really bright and colorful. However, the rest of the build, or the entire build, is still quite old-fashioned. I think the kids' rooms is probably the most modern looking one with the kids' furniture, but the walls and the floors and the bathrooms are all kind of made in this vintage style. I thought that if you didn't play the Cinderella story, that you may play it like a Sims family had moved into this house and kind of renovated it to make it newer, but still kept the vintage look, if that makes sense. I don't really know what the style would be called, but yeah, I still wanted to, so I give them newer appliances and all that, and TVs and PCs and all of that, but kept like the original style of the home, or what I imagined would be the original style of the home, of course. So you could again go 2 ways. You could go with that story, or you could go the real old life fashion life way. If you do isn't there like a challenge where you go throughout the years? Maybe this one kind of helps you out in the early stages, I don't know. You might need to change up some things, like the fridge and stove. I found those a bit of too modern. I mean, I like the style as the renovated feel, but if you want the old-fashioned feel, I would recommend chasing them to the base game ones. They're really old-looking ones. And I did, of course, also place laundering machines, which also might not fit totally to that style of age. And, of course, the PC in the study as well. So, yeah, maybe you want to remove those items as well, just to give that old-fashioned feel. As for TVs, I totally forget to place one in the living room, but I still was thinking about how the living space looked like in the movie and tried kind of to recreate that or gave the same feel. So since that room in the movie doesn't have a TV, that's kind of why I forgot about it. So now it's kind of a reading area. I don't know. Came to think of it when I placed the old TV in the butler's room, and I even checked if I found a spot for it in the living room, but I decided not to in the end because I liked the living room the way it was. If you do want a TV in the living room, you could always replace the bookcase that is nearest to the couches and rather place a TV bench with a TV, of course. And for the more old-fashioned lifestyle, this is already perfect for the living room, and you only need to remember to move the TV in the butler's room and also the other items that I mentioned. But again, it's kind of up to you. Now I also wanted to talk a bit about the outside. As I was decorating the driveway, I really wanted to use the fountain, which is kind of located under comfort for some reason. I don't know why it's there. I always struggle to find it, but this time I remembered about it, and I really thought this one would look good here for this build. Though later on I did also remember that I think there is actually a well, like a water well or something in that spot on the picture, but the picture is kind of covered by trees, so I couldn't really see. But what I remember from the movie, it might have been a well. But I did try out placing a well instead. I think I did it off camera maybe, but I just didn't like that. So instead I kept the fountain and placed the well in another corner of the yard, just to have it included in the build. As for yard space, I did quickly run out of space with this size of house. I mean, it is on a 40 by 30 lot, but I really wasn't in the mood to place it on a 64 by 64 in Windenburg, and I really loved this spot. Even the background looked almost perfect for this scenery. So yeah, I just compromised on the yard instead. I'm pretty sure this is actually a farmhouse in the movie, but I just didn't have enough room left to make a nice garden area too. I really wanted to have the tiny greenhouse in top left corner, of course. So this is where the pumpkins grow now, or at least I pretend it does, because that part was in the newest movie. I'm not sure it's that way in the old-fashioned movie, but the newest one had a greenhouse with all the pumpkins, so that's kind of why I made it a tiny round greenhouse this time. While the other glass area that I also did make near the kitchen, that's kind of also a greenhouse maybe, I don't know how to call it otherwise, but it was more meant to grow herbs and vegetables instead. Now of course there is technically enough room or space in the front yard if you would like to do some gardening outside, but I just liked it better all decorated with plants instead, so it's full up to you. You can change so many different things about this build to be able to change gameplay fully, but yeah, the sky is the limit. You can do whatever. You could do some small changes, some bigger changes, and your gameplay will be able to change entirely because of it. So yeah, whatever you like to do with this build. I don't know your gameplay style. I'm usually more of the normal family playing type of person. I don't really like playing too much, but when I do, I usually just play at least with a mom that can have babies or adopt a ton of babies. It's always a bit different, but usually it's just like a family feel. So yeah, that's probably my gameplay in this house. Further, I did play some different activities as well, of course, and in the garage, which I by the way forgot to record, but you can see it in the screenshots. And there I actually placed a foosball table this time, a woodworking table, and a pumpkin carving table, and a dartboard. I also did place a decorative car. Again, if you want to live the old-fashioned way, then maybe you need to remove that one too, I don't know. I just liked having it because I had a more of a normal family style gameplay in this house in my mind, besides the Cinderella, so a modern Cinderella story maybe, I don't know. As for the house itself, you got more flower pots in the garden, to garden with. I mean, just as I mentioned earlier, you can mostly just plant near the kitchen. I don't think it's enough room in the greenhouse for you to actually plant stuff. And then of course there's the study that, again, I didn't really make it to fit the real life or how it looked in the movie, but I knew there was one. So yeah, I think in the movie actually the kitchen was in the basement, but this home just became so big. I didn't want to be this entire half of the house to be only a study, or I don't know, I could have made a ballroom and then made the kitchen in the basement and maybe hide the bedroom in the basement. I kind of consider it, but I don't know. I want it still to be the normal family home, and it felt more natural this way. But again, you could always renovate it with the kitchen in the basement and make that side of the house like a party area. It seemed like the movie theme was kind of, I don't know, luxurious, and they had some parties going on there as well, but I don't really make room for a party room this time. In the study there's of course the PC, and as mentioned actually, and bookcases of course, and I actually made some extra seating areas there as well, so you could read in the study as well. As for the living room, I placed even more bookcases because I think it fits this style quite well. And I also placed a grand piano because I remembered there was one in the movie as well. And the dining area is here as well, so it is kind of a combined open area. As for the laundry room, I made that connected to the kitchen because I didn't really know where else to put it besides the garage, and I didn't want to place it in the garage this time, so it's close to the kitchen. But if you don't want to play with laundry, then you just need to remove the machines. And the washing bucket that I placed there as a decorative item as well. And you need to remove all the hampers because each bedroom has one. But yeah, you could, if you remove all the items, you could just close off that wall again, and yeah, or you could just make it a decorative laundry room, whatever fits your gameplay. I don't know. Further, I did place a chess table on one of the balconies, the one in the front I think, and the other has an easel with a sitting spot. It has a really nice view from the back, so I thought it was a nice idea to have the easel there. And I did actually place another easel in Cinderella's room as well. I think she's kind of the creative kind one, but I don't know, I just had some fun with it. And of course I placed a lot of toys in the stepsister's room, since that is the kids' room in this build. Again, the build itself is of course now for only girls, or like a teen girl, kids girls. But to be fair, you could easily change that up as well if you want to live here with boys instead. Now, I think those were all the activities this place has to offer. I might have forgotten some, I don't know, but I do know that I don't have much more to mention about this build. So yeah, if you do want to download this build, you can find it under my username, JongWildAndFree, on the gallery, or under the hashtag JongWildAndFree. And always remember to move objects on before placing any of my builds, just to be sure nothing gets removed. If you want to re-upload any of my builds, then you are technically allowed to, but please just don't call it your own or anything, and do credit me by putting my name as a hashtag. That way I can actually find it back too and see that you have re-uploaded it. Plus I'm always curious to see what you have done with the place anyway, so please do tag me. I do hope you still liked this build and enjoyed this video, and if you did, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my creations, you can always subscribe to my channel or follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And of course don't forget to check out the other Sims creations with all kinds of character inspired builds and sims. I will again try and link them all down below, so yeah. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I do hope I see you next time. Bye bye!
Dream up a world of the city of gold. When I was struck by luck, 'cause I found you sitting all alone, looking down your phone like a restless soul. The wind that stroked your hair left your scent in the air, and the sun was almost acting as a spotlight just for you, making flowers bloom. Days are made for you. You make me weak in the knees, and I believe in you and me. So darling, please fly away with me, and you will see. You looked away before I could say that all I want is you and to be near. Standing where you are, I'll give you my heart, peace when we're apart. But then he walked by, you see he walked by, and started to smile, got up and took him by the hand. Now I understand that he is your man. You make me weak in the knees, and I believe in you and me. So darling, please fly away with me, and you will see. You make me weak in the knees, and I believe in you and me. So darling, please fly away with me, and you will see that you belong with me.
What if I would tell you that things don't happen once, they always come back? What if I could throw us back to the very moment when we had our luck? Suddenly it's clear to me, you're all I ever wanted, can't you see? Got to follow through in a game for two. It ain't the way I want it. Got to follow through. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. It ain't the way I want it. Got to follow through. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Should've got you when we started. Got to follow through. It ain't the way I want it, got to follow through. What if you would tell me that things don't happen once, they always come back? What if you could to